How's everyone doing today? Another huge day. First things first, new set, but my name's Jason3KB.
My name's Dan Jeannotte. I play Arno Dorian in Assassin's Creed Unity.
So, that's huge. Ridiculous. It's been a while since we had a real actor on the show, even though I wish I was an actor. I don't count. You now are joining the ranks of royalty. Voice acting and motion capture, actor, stage, everything. The ranks of an elite group that have been on 3 Kilobytes. So like you're going with David Hayter, Elias Tefexis, Mark Meir, Kate Drummond. Who am I forgetting? Anyone? That's it. That's it.
I am humbled to be here.
Thank you so much for coming in. So we're not going to waste any time. First things first, I asked you guys all over the place if you have any questions for Dan the Man. You like Dan the Man?
I love it.
You probably hate that.
Nope, never heard it before.
So, my friend, my ally online, Ali, he asks, when did you realize you wanted to become an actor?
Good question. Good question, Ali. It progressed for me. I was always a huge reader when I was a little kid. When I was very young, I read a lot. As I became a teenager, I read a lot of like fantasy and sci-fi books. And I thought I wanted to be a writer when I was younger.
Like Lord of the Rings?
Yep, absolutely. Lord of the Rings, like the Xanth books, all kinds of like Robert Eddings or David Eddings? Yeah, David Eddings. Anyway, I read a lot, and then I thought I wanted to be a writer. Mm-hmm. And then as I got into high school, I fell in love with film, and I thought I wanted to do storytelling that way, make films, be a director. And then in college, I became friends with a guy, shout out to Matt Goldberg, who asked me to join his improv troupe.
That's where it all comes from. Mark Meir?
Yeah,
you said he's a legend over there.
Exactly. Mark Meir is one of the greatest improvisers in Canada. And, no, he really is.
Here's my impersonation of Mark Meir. Well, thank you.
That's good.
I don't know if you've seen him.
That's very good.
He goes,
yeah.
Anyways, that's my Mark Meir.
So I fell into improv, and then my same friend who asked me to join his improv troupe told me, come see this play that I'm doing in college. And I watched this show, a live musical called Pippin, and I'd never seen anything like it before. It was funny, it had action, it had music. It was all on stage, all being performed by people my age, and I thought, I didn't know you were allowed to do this, you know?
Yeah.
And at the end of the play, the characters walk to the back of the stage, and the whole back wall of the theater lifted up, and I could not understand it. It blew my mind, and they walked off into the shop where all the sets were built, and that was part of the show, and it was just like, it really blew my mind wide open, and I thought, there's so much you can do with storytelling. I want to do it. I want to be an actor.
That's you know, that sounds like most actors have that moment when they're either like watching something in the theater or they're watching like a TV thing with their family, and they're like, all of a sudden, holy shit, that's the moment where like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I wish I had that moment. I think when I was a kid, I like saw like a commercial for like Kraft Dinner, and was like, I want that for dinner. Your standards are way higher than mine.
Yeah, but I mean, now you make videos for a living, you know?
Well,
so you
kind of
are
a living.
Actor.
I just eat Mr. Noodles and Kraft Dinner, and that's
still the Kraft Dinner.
Yeah. So obviously everybody knows that you are the main character in Assassin's Creed right now, and that's a huge deal. But I did my research for once, and I looked and I saw that you were in Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag. Now, how does like an actor like yourself that's on the stage transition to that? Does your like how does that happen?
Yeah, well, video game acting, you get into it in some ways in the same way that you do film or TV acting. Your agent gets you auditions, you know? And in Montreal, where I'm from, and where Ubisoft has a big office.
Ah oui.
Ah oui. Oh, très bien.
Je m'appelle Jason. Comment t'appelles-tu?
Je m'appelle Daniel. Bonjour.
I'm moving there.
Oh, are you?
No. I'm not moving there. Although I hear they're great over there.
Everything is great over there. The women, the city, the culture, the language is the greatest city. Everyone should move to Montreal.
What in movies? What do they use Montreal? They use it as a set piece for what usually?
They can use it for all kinds of things because old Montreal has got a lot of older architecture and cobblestone streets.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so it makes it look like you can make it look like Paris, and I mean they make it downtown look like New York. You know, like
and they have beaver tails.
Do they?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe that's just an Ottawa.
That's more of an Ottawa thing, I think. I don't know.
I don't know. That's the sugar rush. They want you all hyper there because there's nothing else to do in Ottawa.
Right. In Montreal, Ubisoft has got a big office. They do a lot of casting out of there, and I auditioned just like for a normal gig, but it was to do some voices for AC3, and I think I just had to give them like a few different accents.
Did you think when you first heard about it, were you like how much do you game? Are you a gamer?
I can't really say that I'm a gamer.
See,
I used to be a PC gamer back in the day.
Well, back in the day. You mean like classic like point and click adventure games
like
and
Sierra
stuff like that?
and Civilization.
See, you'll get major props for that because like I'll say I'm a console fanboy right now, and like, everyone will be like, "Oh my god, PC is the best." So, good thing that you did all the adventure.
I'm not taking any sides, you know.
No, don't even say anything about that because it'll be the end of the world. But yeah, coming from like a PC background, did you think like I'm gonna go in there and just read lines for a game and I won't even know what happens to it and stuff? Like,
yeah, I mean, when I first did voices for AC3, I didn't know that it was for AC3. I didn't know what it was.
That's so crazy to think.
Yeah, they keep a tight lid on these things, and they don't tell even the actors who are performing in it. They don't always tell them what it is that they're working on.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's only later that I found out that it was for AC3. I think for Black Flag, I knew that it was Black Flag. I got to see some of the graphics. I did some voices on the ship.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but
that ship combat,
amazing.
Super
cool. Yeah.
That was amazing. So you kind of go into a booth essentially. You have your script, and they're like, just how do they direct you in those scenes?
So they'll say like, okay, now in this one you're playing a merchant that the player character is kind of shaking down to get some information out of him, and so you're like a little bit scared, but you're not a pushover, and then I'll give it a go. I'll say like, I honestly have no idea. And then they're like, okay, that was pretty good. Maybe just like you're not quite as scared as that. And I'll be like, I honestly have no idea. And then they just, they give you
tone it back and
yeah, they bring you up, they bring you down. They like work on your accent a little bit. And I would usually play a few characters, but all minor characters in those games, like a guard here, a merchant, I don't know what, a revolutionary. I think I was like a guy who was Paul Revere is in AC3, right?
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was like a guy who's with Paul Revere. I was just standing next to him and says like one thing, like, we've got the map! Or like, whatever.
That's it.
That's it.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And like, when you leave the booth, are you sitting like in your car or going home? Are you thinking like, I'm going to be in a video game? Is this weird for you? Like, how do you feel about that sort of thing? Because it's so different than thinking, okay, I filmed this huge scene, I'm going to be on this huge screen. Instead of that, you're in a video game. And it's totally different.
Yeah, it is. Very, very different. Honestly, when I was doing the voices for AC3 and for Black Flag, I wasn't really thinking about it too much. But it was, when I got the role as Arno, as a player character, then I was like, oh my god, people are going to be playing as me.
Totally different, yeah.
That was weird. I thought like, am I going to be like a voodoo doll for like 1 million people, like who are controlling my body? Am I going to start like
kind of
getting moved around like a puppet?
You kind of are a little bit to that extent. People are controlling you and like kind of what you can do.
And they're like killing me and getting me to kill other people, and so that was a weird thing to wrap your head around, that you're going to be the player character. For the other roles, and for like, I'm an actor, and so I do a lot of different weird things, and I kind of go in, I do my job, and I leave. At the end of the day,
I think that a lot of the gaming community doesn't. I shouldn't say they don't understand. I think a lot of them do understand, but they don't understand that people that are the characters in there, they're not like the developers of the game. Like, you don't sit back at the end of the day and go like, make my character walk this way. You have no control over that, right?
No, none at all. As actors, we have no control over the storyline or over, obviously, the game mechanics. We're coming in and we're giving our voices to the character, we're giving our emotion and bodies to the character, but we're not in charge of anything else, So
I give my body to Ubisoft. like all the time, and they know that. Ubisoft Toronto. I'm trying to get Ubisoft Toronto to let me film a cooking show. You know, the front hallway there with the cooking, the kitchen.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, just bring Elias and me, and I'm inviting you now publicly, and we'll just make cookies at the front. It'll be a show.
That's amazing.
You'll be baking with actors.
Now, see if you could get them to let you shoot the cooking show inside the green screen studio.
They won't even let me.
You could be cooking anything. You could be cooking like, you know.
But we have to pretend. So I'm gonna get like smells and get it all ready and be really like method actor.
Yeah.
Have bacon in my pocket so we can smell it. Like, that's the bacon. Here's the real bacon. I'm crazy. All right. So we talked about you've been in Assassin's Creed 3, Black Flag. At some point, somebody was looking at you and like, I think we need to put him in a nice sweet role. Do you think that's how it happened? They heard your voice work and they were like, yes, that's perfect. How did you all of a sudden, boom, you're the main character in an Assassin's Creed game? And how did that feel? Like, what was it like? You auditioned, they sent you a random script and it didn't even say Assassin's Creed on it?
Yeah, okay. Well, it was a long process to get in there.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it wasn't just like an overnight thing. I think I developed a relationship with Ubisoft through work that I did on 3 and 4. And also, they had brought me in to audition for a lot of other roles before I auditioned for Unity. Just for different games here and there. And again, I didn't always even know what game it was that I was auditioning for.
Oh, yeah.
But I auditioned for a lot of stuff, so the casting people knew me. And I was one of, you know, many, many people that they saw for Unity. I don't think, in their minds, they didn't think, he's the perfect guy right away.
Okay.
They just thought, he might be able to do it. Let's bring him in and see what he's got. And, yeah, just like a film or TV audition, I got some sides, is what we call them in the biz. That's your script, a couple of scenes. And so I had 3 different scenes from the game. I think most of which are in the finished version of the game.
Which is surprising, because usually those scripts come and they are gone.
So much changes, you know. But there was like a scene with Elise where I'm being sort of, you know, very driven and like I have to do this, and then another scene with Elise where I'm a bit more tender or maybe a bit more charming, and then there was like a third scene that was kind of like one with Victor and Hugo where I'm like taunting them and we're fighting each other kind of thing. So they want to see different sides of the character's personality. I auditioned for it once and, you know, I felt like I did a decent job, and then they brought me back for another audition, and they brought me back for another audition.
I gotta ask, because I'm an impatient person, is that nerve-wracking? You're like, another one? Okay, this is good. And then you're like, another one? Oh god, This is like, ugh. Yeah,
with each callback that you get, every time they bring you in a second or third time, in my experience, it gets more and more
nerve-wracking. You're like, I'm so close, but I'm not there.
Because the first time you go in, it's like, well, this is my job as an actor. Auditioning is my job. For any working actor, that's what we spend most of our time doing, is auditioning. And so going in once is like no big deal. You have to go in all the time, so you don't really think about it. But then when you go in the second time, you know that they kind of like you. You know?
Yeah, they saw something and you're like,
oh, now I have something to lose, you know? So the second time is more nerve-wracking. The third time is like, oh my god, like what? Oh, I hope I don't screw this up. What happened with me that I thought was pretty funny, after my third audition, I was in this this casting agency where, you know, you got your lobby and then you have a hallway to go to the bathroom, and then off the lobby there's a different room, a different door that leads to the audition room. So I did my audition, my third audition. I came back into the lobby, and then I walked down the hallway to go to the bathroom to change out of my audition clothes into my normal clothes. And when I got into the bathroom, I realized that there was a doorway to the bathroom that was locked that led directly into the room I had just been in, which means I could hear the conversation that they were having about me.
Don't reveal that you eavesdropped.
I already told Amancio about this.
You were like, what?
No, for real. I totally did that. I realized that I could hear them.
And did you think to yourself, shit, should I leave?
Oh yeah. I was like, should I go? No, I'm not gonna go. I need to know. So I pulled a total assassin move, and I like crept up to the door.
That's how you got it.
And I like listened in, and I heard them saying, you know, like, I think he's pretty good. I think we should. I literally heard them say, I think we should give it to him. And I was like, oh my god.
So you used you already had Assassin's Creed in you to get the role.
I guess so. I guess it was just natural, you know.
Did they must have had a good laugh about that.
Yeah, I eventually.
Or were they like, what?
Well, I only told them
about
it.
They were like, did you see the cameras as well?
No, it's funny. I told Alex Mancio, the creative director, about it at Comic-Con on stage.
So there's no way to get out of that. He's like, whoa, I must smile at this part.
He thought it was pretty funny.
That's crazy.
And then eventually, actually, even after that, I still had another callback.
Holy.
And I finally found out that I got it, and it was like, I mean, it's the coolest job that I could possibly ask for.
It's ridiculous.
You know? Like, not only is it this amazing franchise with this huge, incredible fan base, thank you, Assassin Brotherhood fans, it's just such a fun thing to be a part of, you know?
You must have seen some of the cosplay that people are doing. And, like, people, when they love something with a passion in the cosplay community, they'll spend a year making stuff. And I've seen some of the Assassin's Creed. They actually, when I don't know if you guys know this, but I went to LA. Well, you should know this because you watched the show. What the fuck I'm talking about. In LA, when I was at the Assassin's Creed live stream for Unity, they had these suits there, and they were like, do not touch those. And I was like, why? And they were like, those are worth like $3,000 each. And they were just like leather, and it was all like stitched by hand. And I'm like, who did this? And they were like, there's this cosplay group, and we got them to make it. And I was like, holy shit. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask now, like, when you get the role, and now you're standing there, and they've told you you have the role, do you start to, what's the first couple of thoughts in your head? Like, wow, like, what do you think? Because now you're in a video game that's extremely well known.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what I thought at first. I mean...
You're like, I'm going to Tim Hortons.
I'm hungry. No, I guess probably first thing I thought, because I'm a working actor and all we hope for are roles, I thought, thank you. Like, thank you, universe, for giving me a paying job. That's probably the first thing I thought.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't think a lot of people know out there, when you're an actor, definitely in Toronto, and I deal with a lot of them, you do a lot of free just stuff.
For sure.
You're just doing it to get your name out there.
Yeah, and as I said, I spend my days, my weeks auditioning for projects, and getting something that's fantastic. But it's not easy to do, you know.
It's very hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just really grateful that I could like support myself for a little while.
I got paid.
yeah. And then after that, I thought, it sort of hit me like this is a really big title. And people really care about this title a lot. And I had to decide how much I was going to, how much I was going to let myself be affected by all the expectations that fans had of this game. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Because people, as you say, when they love it, they go crazy for it. And games, unlike film or TV, you know, the audience for games, you get invested in it. You spend time with the characters. You are the characters. You love it. You do cosplay. There's just, it's so much more immersive. And gamers care about games more than moviegoers care about movies. So I was a bit nervous. I was like, how much am I going to let myself get affected by that? Because you could psych yourself out. You know?
Totally. I mean, you have, what did you say? It was 400-page script.
Something like that.
And... that just sounds crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, what's an average script? 120 pages?
Yeah, for a movie.
So it's like, you're doing like 3 movies.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And then on top of it, there's DLC, and then there's also callbacks, because like maybe they changed a whole thing, or a mission's gone, and there's a new one. And it must be like, holy crap.
It's a lot to wrap your head around, for sure. And I had to kind of decide that I wasn't going to let myself get too fazed by all the assassins who'd come before me, all the incredible voice actors who'd come before me, because I don't want to look... You know, if you look at that list of actors who have played assassins, it's very easy to get overwhelmed by those names and get intimidated, you know? And so I thought, I've just got to come to this with like an open heart and a fresh mind and just bring my own thing to the table, do my job as an actor, and not worry too much about how it's going to be perceived.
Yeah.
Because, as we were saying before, I'm not in control of the game or the story or the plot line or the missions. All I can control is the way I bring a voice and a physicality to this character.
As for Arno, what, sort of influences... Somebody asked this and I totally forget their name, but what sort of influence do you have on a character in a video game? In a film, for instance, you probably meet with the director or the stage production manager, or sorry, no, they'd be the director. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. The director of the play or the film or the TV show.
Yeah.
Do you ever get to, in that regard, that medium, do you get to go, okay, I think maybe this can be a little bit different because I read the thing and Do you get to fiddle with it a little?
Well, in film or TV, you might get the chance to influence the direction of the character a little bit, but it really depends on, for one thing, the size of your role. Obviously, the smaller your part is,
you can't go in and be like, I think I would do this, and then they're like, you're the dude who just walks by in the background.
Yeah, I think the paramedic in the background who's wheeling in the main character, I think he would move a bit slowly. No, you do what I tell you to do. Yes.
Do you ever see anyone do that?
I do. You do. Oh yeah, man. Actors are a funny bunch.
I would love to see that. Just somebody who literally does that, and they're like, he would walk with a limp because he was in World War II.
Oh yeah. You get that. You get that. It's a lot of
that's
characters.
Ridiculous. So, in that regard, I guess it has to do with the director and if he's open to collaboration.
Yeah. And it's also the. It depends on the kind of project. Like for a movie is a more self-contained piece, obviously, compared to a TV show, right?
Yeah.
A TV show which is ongoing. With a movie, the writer generally will have a pretty strong sense of what the character's arc is, because it's definite. The movie has a beginning and an end. Whereas with a TV show that's more ongoing, an actor could eventually, if you're a regular on a TV show, you could eventually have a bit more of an opportunity to influence your character because you've been playing your character for a while.
Yeah,
and you sort of know the character a bit more than anyone else.
You know more than, say, a new writer who comes on. The writer probably comes to you and goes, okay, what are some of the subtleties that he does? I need to put it in there.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you could eventually, in the kind of collaborative atmosphere on a film or a TV set, you might maybe be able to have a chance to influence your character. But that's really kind of a best-case scenario for an actor.
So
most of the time, you're just like
a
cog in a machine.
Yeah, okay. So you're just there, and you're doing your part.
And it's just like, say what's written, actor boy.
Yeah. Well, it's like Hitchcock once said the actors are cattle. And you just corral them and move them around. Do you agree with that?
I agree that that's how Hitchcock felt about it.
You see, a lot of actors are like, screw you, son of a... But I honestly think without the actor in that role, you wouldn't get that part. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, you wouldn't have the same essence. Like, if you replaced Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones and put Tom Selleck like it was supposed to be in the original, it wouldn't be the same. We wouldn't be thinking it was Indiana Jones. It might have been totally different. So it's it does... have to. That's why you pick the actor. He's got a look. He's got a voice. He's subtleties. So in a video game, obviously we're not seeing you, but you are still playing that character as much as you would on a film, except they're replacing your face, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, when you get to the set and stuff, and you've played the character, say, for like 3 months now, and you're reading these huge scripts, do you ever get those moments where you're like, I kind of think he wouldn't do it this way?
Well,
and they're like, no.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. It's interesting because I did play Arno for a long time. I think, in my experience with this particular role, where that sort of really came into play was when I was working on the DLC.
Okay.
Because when you're shooting the game, or when you're shooting any kind of filmed thing, whether it's a game or a movie, you're shooting it all out of order.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's something that not everyone realizes.
Unless it's E.T.
Unless it's E.T.
They shot that in sequence so the kids would be like, oh, E.T. is leaving us.
Which is smart.
Which is brilliant. It's brilliant.
But mostly just for logistic reasons, you can't do that, So you shoot everything out of order. So for a game like Assassin's Creed Unity, I was shooting, the first day I might have been shooting something from the 9th sequence of the game. And then we go back and forth, we jump back and forth. So I was constantly having to remind myself and ask questions to be like, where are we at this point in the game? Has We can do spoilers right now, right?
Well...
Okay, I won't do spoilers. Don't worry.
No, you could do a little bit. No, let's just say somebody has died versus somebody who was there.
So that's it. I would have to ask questions. Has so-and-so died yet? Or does Arno know about this or that yet? To situate myself
It seems like so much. And like you were saying earlier, then on top of that, you also have to do, like, tedious things like, okay, in this scene you fall off this chair backwards, and but you're holding a sword, and you're going up a ladder, and you're doing it with one hand versus two, and...
Yeah, there's a lot of that minutia that needs to be recorded, both in voice and the physical motion for the game.
Is that the most awkward thing to do when you do a video game character? Like, when they're like, okay, grunt, like you're falling from this ladder, but now you're falling on somebody, so you're not as hurt. Is it like that?
All those little sounds are kind of awkward to do, for sure. Also, what's awkward is that, like, because I was the player character, and when we finished a cinematic, they were in Unity, they were really going for this idea that the cinematics blend into gameplay very smoothly, theoretically. So when I would finish a cinematic scene, I would need to stand in a very specific position with my left foot slightly forward.
I heard about this.
Yeah.
Everybody from Ubisoft tells me the same thing, that when they did this, they couldn't explain what was really happening, but at the end of the scene, they had to end on the same point as the beginning of something else. And I always thought, what are they talking about? So you're saying, because of the cutscenes, you had to end that because it goes right into the gameplay.
So, it goes from cinematic into player-controlled gameplay. So as soon as the player is capable of moving the character forward, he'll start moving him forward, and it'll always be right foot first. And so, because it's always going to be right foot first, I would need to finish a scene with my left foot slightly forward, or my right foot slightly back, so that it's ready to step forward.
So crazy. Did you ever not do that? And they're like, hey, right foot boy.
Fix
that.
They'd say they'd say game pose, and I'd have to readjust myself, It's weird. There's a lot of these weird little technicalities. But yeah, to get back to whether or not you can kind of bring your own thing to the character, with Unity's main storyline, I felt like what I could really just do is just try to bring him alive, like bring some heart to him, Here he is, he's a character who goes through a lot of ups and downs in the script, and I had to just kind of like give him a realistic basis, a realistic personality and a center, because the game's going to go in a lot of crazy directions, a lot of dramatic things are going to happen, and I have to make it make sense in a natural personality way,
Yeah, it seems so...
It's tricky. But then what was really cool was doing the DLC, which, if you haven't played it yet, you should. I think it's super cool, because the DLC happens after everything in Unity has taken place.
Yeah.
Arno has gone through a lot of shit. He is a changed man. He's got a lot of stuff weighing heavily on him. And so I was able to say, I know what he's gone through now. I don't think he would make a joke in this place. Whereas in the first game, he makes a lot of jokes. He makes a lot of quips, He's a smart ass, just says a lot of silly things, funny things, makes fun of people. But then by the end of the game, he's gone through so much that he doesn't have that same kind of devil-may-care attitude anymore,
I love that. Yeah, it's so interesting that you go through it yourself, and then you get to DLC, and you're like, I don't know if you do that. And were they like, okay, I guess he wouldn't?
Well, they were actually really great about it, It's not like I say something and they immediately agree to it, but if I were to make a suggestion, they will say, yeah, let's talk to the writer about that. And but I see where you're coming from, and I think that makes sense. So in a few places, we did sort of cut out some of those smart-ass comments, because they didn't seem to... They weren't
hitting the button there, and
it
was just added fluff, and you're like,
yeah. And so I think it's very interesting in the DLC that he's in a much darker place, And I was able to kind of bring a bit more of my own attitude and experience into that, and say, like, after going through all of this horrible stuff, he's a changed man now,
Yeah.
And they, they knew that. They wrote it that way, but then they agreed with my little changes and stuff. It's wonderful when, as an actor, if you can get any chance to collaborate and add your own ideas, you're in a good working environment,
So overall, I have to ask, what's the experience been like? So the game comes out, you're the main star of Assassin's Creed. Like, do you get people like writing you on Twitter now and Facebook saying like, I fell asleep playing the game 30 hours straight, and like, what's it like for you?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's so cool, you know? The experience of shooting the game was really fun because it was, you know, me in a bodysuit running around pretending to be this badass assassin. You know, it was just a lot of fun action and comedy and romance. It was a really great time. And now since the game has come out, there's this whole other level to it, and it's the interaction with the fans. And they're great. You guys are so great. I have all this action on Twitter that's all just like people who are loving the game and like asking me questions about Arno, asking me questions about me personally, what I'm up to or what I like and this and that, you know. And it's like a very passionate fan base.
It's crazy. We should point out that his Twitter handle is over here. It's been there, so follow him on Twitter.
Jeannotte.
So the good news is, I contacted Ubisoft, and they were like, here's codes, blah. And they were like, here's a bunch of codes for Assassin's Creed Unity on PS4, so...
Nice!
We're going to give one away in this video, and we'll give another one away in the next video we're doing, which we'll announce right now. And we did this with Elias Defexis, and we should have done it with Mark Meer. I don't know why we didn't. Probably because he's too handsome, and I couldn't look at him that long. But we're going to play Assassin's Creed, and we're going to see if we can get you to do a couple of lines here and there, talking to the random peasants below you in Assassin's Creed.
So Arno Dorian playing Assassin's Creed.
That's going to happen next. So that's the next video coming up. But right now, before we give the code away, for the people who want to keep following you, and like, what are you doing next? What game are you? Assassin's Creed 32 is next? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, that's right. Assassin's Creed 32, Assassins in Space.
I was just going to say Assassins in Space.
Yeah, there you go. So that's how it works.
So what do you got? You got your TV show that you're working in Toronto on.
I'm working on a TV show called The Good Witch, which is really about as far from Assassin's Creed as you can get.
I looked it up and I thought, what is this? This is interesting.
It's like it's a family show for the Hallmark Channel. The Hallmark Channel, which plays in the States, and it stars Catherine Bell, who used to be in the show Jag, if you remember that.
Yeah, of course I do.
Military lawyers, yeah.
And they were on those big ships.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I know my stuff.
Yeah. So.
And you work with Catherine
Disher,
who, I looked this up. If you're watching Catherine, come on the show. She was Jill Valentine in Resident Evil 3.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get her on the show.
I can ask her if she wants to come. Sure. We're tight, me and Dish.
I'll bake her a cake.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Tell her. It'll be a dish cake.
Yeah.
We'll call it the Disher. Present it to her. Or you both come back.
Great. I love
anything. You know what we need to do next, actually? Elias Defexis, Mark Meer, you.
Oh, man.
A three-way battle.
Oof.
To the end. It's like Adam Jensen versus Arno versus
Shepard.
Who wins?
Oh my god. I can't say.
Kill them with the knives or something.
I just sneak away in the darkness.
Like, I'm cowardly into the darkness. Elias would just scare the hell out of you with his voice. Like, where are you?
Yeah, exactly. No, because like Arno doesn't kill people he doesn't have to kill. That's the way that I always say.
Well, you can change that. Anyway. You're the character. So you're working on that.
I'm working on a show called The Good Witch, which you should check out. And I'm part of a comedy troupe named Uncalled For. And we do a lot of improv and sketch comedy in Toronto and in Montreal, but we also have a whole bunch of videos, online sketches that you can check out. If you go to our website, weareuncalledfor.com.
I'll link that in the ender bar. Click that, check out that.
Oh, that's why I did this. It's not going to show up on the...
I'll put it the second time so you don't look so silly.
Okay.
I'll keep putting it there. I might be too lazy to motion it or something. But
that's okay.
It'll be there. It'll just show up because I'm a lazy editor.
And what else? I did a few days on Beauty and the Beast, the TV show, which will be on the CW network. So yeah.
Not the old 1980s one.
Not that cool 1980s one. No,
Linda Hamilton. Like
that's right.
Punching in the face.
No, this is the super cool 2014 version. 2015.
Yeah, it's not out yet.
Welcome to the future.
It's coming, right?
It's the third season is coming out, and I'll be in that one. And yeah, so you can watch for me.
I know a lot of women will love that.
Will they?
Yeah, for sure.
Beauty and the Beast, right?
Yeah, obviously. It's Beauty and the Beast, and it's like this love story.
Yeah, but it's like cool though. It's like action-y. It's like because he's kind of like a werewolf. So like dudes will love it too. You know, I'm just saying.
They changed it completely, right?
Oh
like,
yeah.
It's sort of. It's not that old. Like he's like the Phantom of the Opera.
No. He's like he's like a doctor who's sort of got this ancient werewolfy kind of curse, and she's a cop, and you know.
See, I can get into that. It's so much better than the original.
Oh well, yeah.
My personal opinion. No, you didn't say that. They call you what? What is that?
No. It's a cool show, and I'm on that, and we'll see what else.
Any
happens.
video game stuff?
I don't have any video game stuff on the horizon that I'm allowed to talk about.
Yeah, right. I don't believe any of you voice acting, motion capture liars.
Well, you know, we signed these agreements that say...
Yeah, I signed them, too. I when I go to Ubisoft Toronto, I just sign them and I go, yeah. Come back here and I'm like, guys, listen to it. No, I don't do that. I'd go to jail.
You gotta respect the NDA, man.
I've signed so many of those. So many of those. Ubisoft just owns my soul now.
Yeah, pretty much.
They own yours still?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Even when I audition, I sign those things.
Oh, I know.
I shouldn't have been talking about those auditions before.
I'll say that I have a... No, I'm not going to say that. See?
See?
Yeah, almost.
You drew the line there.
I did it. So, right now, I'll let you present the code.
Okay.
You're going to give a code away right now. Oh, and also, follow him on Twitter because in a couple days, who knows when he'll do it, but he's going to give away a copy on his Twitter as well. So you have to follow there if you've got PS4. It's a whole free game for you.
Exactly. And so follow me to get one in a few days. But right now, here is a code for a PS4 copy of Assassin's Creed.
Now, the important thing is, see, there it is, but the last digit is gone.
Question mark.
What is it? See, I don't like to put the actual code because then you just...
Too easy.
There's also going to be a giveaway in the next video we do, which is happening next, but I have to thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's amazing having these people come in and talk about, like, it's crazy to me, like, I don't know how you, people ask me, how do you get these people? I don't know, I pay them. Whoops, I almost broke my, By the way, you're a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of the
Are you giving me this?
No. Absolutely not. I am not.
I love this. This is super cool. I mean, it's wicked. And this dude, I forget his name now, but played by Lee Pace in the movie.
Yeah, he's cool.
This guy with his...
Yeah, he's cool too.
I love it. It's super cool.
I almost knocked this down the other day.
I just learned that the ship was named after Alyssa Milano.
You learn everything here on the set. So, thank you so much for watching. Again, it's been an honor, man. Thank you so much. We're going to go and play some Assassin's Creed Unity and make fun of peasants. So that's going to be very interesting, and you'll probably get fired.
Oh.
Because you might say some weird shit.
I already did the work, so...
Oh, well.
You can't take the money.
Sorry. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you on that video, and to be honest, I have no idea when it's coming out. It's a surprise. Who knows? Do you know?
I don't even know.
He doesn't even know.